There's an event for it. I wonder if there's an event for it.
Pass like a dream. You say you like me?
Ever since March started learning swordplay from Yan Cheng and Yun Li, her voice has been absent on the Express. I wonder how well she's progressing. Where has she been these days?
You're here. Let me show you a trick. There you are. I was looking around before you got here. I already looked everywhere, but March 7th is nowhere to be found. Nope. Let's just assume she successfully skipped class. Actually, she's been quite diligent in her swordplay practice and hasn't taken many breaks lately. I think she deserves a day off. Besides, I used to skip classes even more than her back when I was still learning. If I was in the mood, I could train for 3 days straight. But if I wasn't in the mood, none of my seniors could find me. So, I can understand where she's coming from. Don't make excuses for her. Since you're here, let me treat you to some tasty food. I'm more interested in you today. Let's walk and talk. Lingsha told me there's tasty food in Arum Alley. Let's go there.
Dumplings and steamed buns. The buns are...
A table for two, please.
All right, come on in. What would you like?
Well, we'll have one of everything on the menu.
The entire menu?
Do you think it'll be enough? Oh, don't worry. There are two of us.
Well, then I'll start making a few dishes, and if you need more, just let me know.
Thank you. No, I've thought about it. She deserves a day off. Yeah, I mean, not too much, actually. Grandpa said to never be stingy when it comes to making friends. So, how big is your appetite? Then eat to your heart's content. Well, to be more precise, I'm interested in your sword. Yanqing mentioned you before. He said that you're not to be underestimated, and that your weapon has a unique shape. So, I've always been curious about your sword. How the weight is distributed, what material it's made of, whether it contains any special ingenia, and what kind of sword techniques you use. Seriously? A bat? Yeah, now more than ever. So, it really is a baseball bat. Grandpa said that a sword doesn't have to be constrained by its shape, so, in a sense, your bat is a sword too. He also said that a weapon mimics its master, so your bat actually reflects your habits and nature, you know? Let me guess. You're someone who doesn't follow the rules, enjoys improvising, and can handle yourself well against tough foes. Am I right? Amazing, right? And I bet you always say something silly like, rules are made to be broken. I've come across so many sword wielders who acted all righteous and moral, but were really just liars. Their swords always told the truth, though. They told me that their wielders were just a bunch of frauds who relied on their divine weapons for everything. I've hunted down hundreds of swords like this so far, and every single one of them has been melted down. Yes, but only for those who cross the line. Melting their swords is my way of protecting those weapons. But just looking at a sword is not enough. Grandpa always says, words and expressions can be deceiving, but in a fight to the death, a sword's movements never lie. The war dance is just around the corner. You'll be participating, right?
Miss Yoon Lee, for talented swordmasters like you, the war dance is a perfect opportunity to show off your skills and make a name for yourself. But for people like her who have already made significant contributions to the Xianzhou, they maybe don't need to prove themselves on the war dance stage. It has been a while, Miss Nameless.
And you are?
Thank you for your introduction, Miss Nameless. I'm Shi Kuei, and I work in the Palace of Astrum as the secretary for the Helmmaster. I apologize for interrupting your conversation. I happened to hear you discussing the war dance. And since this person is an old acquaintance, I thought I'd come and say hello. Yes, with the war dance approaching, many guests from afar are pouring in. Mr. Pavo here is one of them. He's from the distant planet Kalevala. Mr. Pavo's planet recently joined the Pan-Cosmic Trade System. He brought his delegation here this time, not only for business, but also to return something that belongs to the Xianzhou.
Miss Shikue, the word gift is perhaps more fitting than return. While it did once belong to the Xianzhou, we faced many tribulations to be able to deliver it here, so it should be considered a gift.
I apologize for my poor choice of words. Mr. Pavo's delegation brought a legendary Xianzhou sword that had been lost for centuries. General Huayan plans to personally thank them at the Palace Astrum and present the sword as a prize to the champion of the war dance. Mr. Pavo and I were actually on our way there. Since you two were talking so enthusiastically about the war dance, maybe you'd be interested in joining us at the Palace of Astrum? General Huayan will hold the sword gifting ceremony at the Palace of Astrum soon. Are you interested?
Nice to meet you both. The journey to the Xianzhou Lafu wasn't an easy one, but the scenery here is worth it. It's completely different from my homeland. Once the formalities at the Palace of Astrum are finished, I'll find a quiet spot on this street and plant a seedling, and then my mission will be complete. The Sword of Heroes will finally be returned to its rightful owners. I couldn't be happier. Oh, you're interested in my home planet? That's great. Your Excellency is welcome to visit us at any time. Even though the trade route just opened, it still might take around 200 system hours to get there from Pier Point. But our planet is really great. Sure, it's a bit cold and the food is a bit repetitive and our houses aren't as fancy as those on Pier Point, but That doesn't matter. We've discovered massive supernium deposits, and we're on the path to prosperity. Oh, you mean the Mieka Kivesa? It's an incredible sword. That weapon helped the legendary heroes of my homeland slay demons, and is highly revered. It also has the power to choose monarchs. All the ancient kings of Kalevala received a sign from the sword, showing they were worthy to rule the land. According to tradition, each monarch would plunge the sword into a stone, and only a hero recognized by the sword could pull it out and ascend to the throne next. Well, those are just legends from the past. No one today has witnessed it firsthand. Well, times have changed, and now that we have a council in place, the idea of a sword crowning a king has become a joke. Besides, it wasn't a native of Kalevala who last pulled out the sword and recognized its connection to the Xianzhou ship. It was a visitor from afar. While the sword holds great historical significance for Kalevala, it doesn't truly belong to our world. The old-timers on council had a heated debate about whether to return the sword. They eventually unanimously agreed to let the Mieka Kivesa return to where it truly belongs. That's the best possible outcome. Wonderful. It's an honor to have so many people witness the sword's homecoming. Wonderful. It's an honor to have so many people witness the sword's homecoming.
Let's head to the Palace of Astrum together. I know, right? Thanks to March 7th skipping class, we get to join in on the fun. Grandpa always asks me to go look at swords with him, but he hasn't said anything about this one. It's really weird. But now that we're invited, let's go and check it out.
It's still early. Where to now?
There you are. Come on, let's go to the ceremony together.
Please allow me to offer a sincere compliment, my fair lady. Your beauty is as pure as a snow-white iris. Well, if it isn't my dear friend! Glad to meet you again.
Who is this weirdo? Who is this knight?
I am Argenti, a member of the Knights of Beauty. I was invited as a part of the Kalevala delegation to escort the legendary Mieka Kivesa back to the Xianzhou. May I have the honor of knowing your name?
My name is Yun Li.
What a beautiful name! I wonder if you have ever heard the holy name of the pure and flawless goddess Adrilla.
Oh, you're here, Yun Li. Didn't expect you to be so well informed. Well, now that you're here, don't forget your manners.
Manners. Come on. You won't find another granddaughter as polite and well-behaved as me.
Well, just remember this is a very serious ceremony. Sorry for keeping you waiting, Mr. Pavo. Now, let the sword gifting ceremony begin.
Before the ceremony officially commences, I want to express my gratitude to the Knight Argenti. Thank you for enlightening us about the sword's origin and for escorting in here safely so that we may complete this ceremony. On behalf of the Kalevalan delegation, I, Pavel Kalistaya, am here to return the legendary Mieka Kifesa to the Xianzhou Alliance, its rightful homeland.
I'm truly grateful for Kalevala's noble act of returning the sword and for the Knight of Beauty's chivalry. Now, as we gather here on the Xianzhou Luofu, I officially welcome the sword back to its homeland. Mieka Kifesa. It's a fitting name for a sword with such a legendary past. I still remember the name engraved on this sword the day it was forged. Gu Yin. It was forged by Han Guang, a craftsman from the Zhu Ming's Flame Wheel Forge.
Wait, Hongguang?
Although its blade is worn and cracked, its essence remains as resilient as the Xianzhou Cloud Knights. All it needs is some repairs and polishing by the skilled craftsmen of the Artisanship Commission to regain its former glory. I've decided to entrust this sword, Gu Yin, to the Luofu Artisanship Commission for restoration. Furthermore, it will serve as the prize for the champion of the Luofu War Dance. This sword will be wielded against abominations to protect our homeland and live up to the mission of the Kalevalan delegation that returned it from so far away.
Thank you, General. It is an honor for Kalevala.
Now, esteemed knight and delegation members, please head to the Artisanship Commission, where...
No! This sword was forged by Hongguang.
Yun Li! These esteemed guests have brought back your father's work. Where are your manners?
Oh, I didn't realize this sword was actually forged by your father. Returning it to its rightful owner is,
Grandpa, give me that cursed sword right now! I'll melt away the remnants of that man's curse once and for all!
Don't be rude, Yun Li. Apologize to our esteemed guests from afar.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry for making a scene. But I have to melt down this cursed sword. I won't let it fall into anyone else's hands.
Yun Li, please, go for now. This is exactly why I didn't want Yun Li to know about this. I didn't want to create trouble, but trouble found its way here anyway. Perhaps it really is divine intervention. Could you, please, keep an eye on Yun Li for me? Don't worry about it. I need your help on this. I apologize for the unfortunate interruption. Let us move on with the ceremony.
Unless I'm mistaken, Yun Li should be around here somewhere.
Nothing in this report makes sense. I signed up for a crash course in swordsmanship. I signed up for a crash course in swordsmanship.
That's a hefty battleship there.
Did Grandpa send you to look for me? I bet he did. Really? Thank you. Just so you know, I'm here just waiting for the perfect moment to snatch that sword. And once I have it, I'll melt it down before anyone can react. Don't even think about stopping me. No one can stop me. Grandpa sent you here. Surely he doesn't want you to help me. Have you heard of cursed swords? That sword is one. You've clearly heard a lot of folk tales. But that's not the kind of cursed sword I'm talking about. A cursed sword lets anyone, even a complete novice, wield it with insane skill. Just by holding the hilt, even the weakest rookie can brandish it with incredible speed and strength. I'm not joking around. And I'm not making up some crazy story. While a cursed sword grants instant abilities to its wielder, it comes at a cost. It's like continuously adding fuel to the forge. With each swing, the sword drains the wielder's blood and essence. Day by day, the fuel will run out, leaving nothing but an empty husk. Soon enough, it will no longer be a person wielding a sword, but a mindless, killing machine, consumed by bloodlust and murderous thoughts. I wonder if you've ever heard of a creature called a heliobus. It loves to feed on human emotions and memories, and excels at manipulating its hosts. There was a lunatic swordsmith who infused metal blades with heliobi, as he was obsessed with turning weapons into living things. And this is how cursed swords were made. I know, I shouldn't have caused a scene at the sword gifting ceremony. But I've thought this through. If I don't make a fuss now, that cursed sword will cause a whole lot more trouble. So it's better if it's me causing the trouble. By the way, aren't they supposed to be taking the sword to the Artisanship Commission for repairs? Why haven't they come out yet? Any ideas? Looks like they're not going to show up here. I'll just head straight to the Artisanship Commission. It doesn't matter why Grandpa chose that sword. I won't let it fall into anyone else's hands. I'll track down every single sword he forged and melt them down one after another. Just like I've been doing all these years. I have to go now.
Is she planning to sneak into the Artisanship Commission and steal that sword? Maybe I should keep an eye on her. The Artisanship Commission is so big. Where could she be?
Good quality, good price. Hassle-free charge.
Just a while ago, a girl came up to me, all fierce and demanding directions. She said she's a member of the Artisanship Commission. Do you know her?
No idea who she is. If she really works here, how can she not know her way around?
Yeah, she wasn't big at all. But that weapon of hers was pretty intimidating.
She was in a hurry, heading straight for the Artisanship Commission, and I didn't want to ask too many questions.
She said something like, "I'm a member of the Artisanship Commission. Where do you keep your precious stuff?" I got scared and pointed her toward Master Gongshu's warehouse, where he stores his arumatons.
Wait, why did you give her directions? What if she's planning to steal something?
Where else? Like I said, she was headed straight for the warehouse, where all the valuable arumatons are.
Yeah, that place is filled with Master Gongshu's precious arumatons. I bet they'll give her a hard time.
The security there is tight. I hope that little girl is okay.
What are you doing here? Look, if I get into trouble, it's my problem. I don't want to drag you into it. Fine. Let's smash these metal cans first. Then we can talk.
Stay.
Lower your weapon. Treasonous.
What's in your prescription?
Lance, forward!
Let me pay you back.
Tenfold!
That was the last of them. Thank you for helping me out. This place is heavily guarded. But there's nothing but arumatons. Where is the arsenal? Seems like not even those craftsmen know where the arsenal is. At this rate, we won't find anything. And Grandpa might take me away before I can do anything. You're not really here to help me. You're here to stop me, right? You have a kind soul. But if you want to stop me, you'll have to prove yourself. You probably think I'm being impulsive and unreasonable, right? No, really. Do I come across that way? Well, I guess I can't deny it. Seems like you've met a lot of people who don't tell you the whole story. Look. I owe you an explanation. But this isn't the best place to talk. We need to find somewhere else. Let me be clear, though. I'm still pretty riled up. This is just a temporary break. I already told you about Guyan. The sword that was returned during the ceremony. It's a cursed sword, with a heliobus inside. And Hongguang, the swordsmith who forged it, is my father. I rarely mention his name to anyone other than Grandpa. Maybe, like you said, I've been avoiding having to talk about him. But as long as my mission to hunt down cursed swords continues, it's impossible to avoid the topic forever. For some reason, I feel like I can open up to you. Honestly, I don't remember much about him. All I know is that the Flame Wheel Forge used to be a bustling place, with people from all over coming to get one of his swords. They called him the greatest master craftsman since Yingxing. I didn't catch all the details, but I do remember seeing him forge those amazing swords, while the visitors watched with smiles on their faces. I used to believe that craftsmen brought happiness to others. The swords crafted by the Flame Wheel Forge are famed across the stars. They possess exceptional sharpness and invincibility. With these legendary weapons, even ordinary people can become skilled warriors, capable of overcoming the most formidable opponents. But then, he became obsessed with becoming a famed swordsmith, and started crossing all sorts of lines. He forged cursed swords that should never exist. And all those people who desired those twisted swords started flooding into the palace. However, just like Grandpa said, those who excel with the sword will eventually suffer by it. The palace is overrun with visitors from afar. Some left empty-handed. Others got swords that didn't fulfill their desires. And some even resorted to stealing. And in the midst of all the chaos my father created, he ended up being stabbed by one of the swords he forged. It was so sudden and unexpected. Everything went silent for a moment. All I could hear was the sound of bones breaking and blood pouring out. I was frozen in place, unable to move. It was only when my mother pushed me away from the deadly swing of the cursed sword that I managed to escape. I don't remember much after that, except for the pounding of my heart and the sound of my own gasps of breath. I could hear the smiths in the Flame Wheel Forge shouting, "Run away, Yunli!" And the screams of agony. My tears wouldn't stop, and I couldn't see anything. I kept gasping for air until I collapsed in a pool of blood. If General Huayan hadn't arrived in time, I probably wouldn't be here talking to you now. After that, General Huayan took me in and treated me like his own granddaughter. To me, he is 100 times better than my sinful father. He taught me forging and swordsmanship. Hangguang paid for his sins, but his troubled legacy must not go unchecked. According to the records, he forged a total of 1,382 Heliobus cursed swords, and 182 of them had unique designs. When I joined the Flamewheel Forge for training, I made a vow to hunt down all those cursed swords. So far, I found 312 of them, and Guyan will be my 313th. Like all the other cursed swords, I'll separate it from the Heliobus. Then, I'll melt it down and make it part of the Blade of Forged Remnants. I've said my piece now. Even though it'll be tough for Grandpa, I still have to melt down the sword. Those travelers who came seeking Hongguang's swords all came in the name of justice and honor. Most of those so-called great heroes were heartless killers. They are only called heroes because they won. Many of the cursed swords I've destroyed had honorable and grand names, too. A legendary sword and a butcher's knife are often just different ways of describing the same thing. Somehow, after talking to you, I feel like I've cooled off a bit. Well, I'll have an honest conversation with Grandpa tomorrow. And I won't take any action against Guyan until he gives me his reasons. Yeah, I shouldn't have done that in a public place. Anyway, thank you. We'll catch up tomorrow.
I should go back to the Palace of Astrum and tell General Huayan what happened at the Artisanship Commission.
My granddaughter didn't cause any trouble, did she, young lady? Sorry for all this trouble. Yun Li told you quite a bit. Now it's time for this old man to tell my side of the story. Han Guang was my beloved disciple. A rare genius not seen in the Flamewheel Forge since Yingxing. However, talent can sometimes be a curse. He had an unusual fervor for forging, and he dreamed of forging a sword with self-awareness that surpassed that of humans. He believed it would make warriors invincible without any training. According to him, while weapons of mass destruction like Zhu-Ming flames and alchemical arrows can destroy many enemies, true victory lies with soldiers who fearlessly fight, ready to lay their lives on the line. Usually, Xianzhou swordsmiths infuse a basic level of awareness into their swords to make them easier to wield. But even then, soldiers need to experience countless battles to overcome fear and sharpen their instincts. So, by infusing Heliobi into swords, he managed to forge weapons that could grant their wielders strength and valor, and even make decisions for them. However, Weapons are different from regular tools. They are meant to kill, plain and simple. After countless battles, all the anger, fear, and bloodlust are soaked up by the heliobi within the swords. The soldiers wielding them not only gain strength, but they also become consumed by the malice, turning them into puppets possessed by the swords. No matter how noble Hongwan's intentions were, those weapons, soaked in blood, turned into cursed swords eventually. Later, Outworlders got wind of what he was doing and encouraged him to keep forging cursed swords. They came up with all sorts of reasons, from taking back their kingdoms to slaying demons. And you know what happened next. That massacre took her parents' lives, and the lives of many craftsmen in the Flame Wheel Forge. Yun Li managed to survive, but she couldn't escape the horrors of that day. Yes, I don't want her to spend her whole life trapped under her father's shadow. She doesn't deserve to carry the weight of his mistakes. Despite her vow to hunt down and wipe out all cursed swords, fulfilling that vow requires immense effort. Traversing the starry seas in search of the swords is like finding a needle in a haystack. And to reclaim those swords, she has to duel the bloodthirsty wielders, teetering on the edge of life and death. She has taken back over 300 cursed swords, and has suffered the same number of fatal wounds. I took her in to give her a chance at a normal childhood, not to send her on a sword-hunting journey. Even if she manages to melt down all the cursed swords one day, what will she do with her life after? Hu Yin is indeed one of the cursed swords forged by Han Guang. Very few swordsmiths could use heliobi as forging material, and Han Guang was one of them. His attempt came at a terrible cost. I thought this sword could be an opportunity. I wanted to tell her that her father wasn't all evil, that even the man she resents so much managed to forge a true sword of heroes. I also wanted to find a chance to tell her about the history and origin of this sword, but not during the ceremony. As you saw, it wasn't a good time. I've instructed the Artisanship Commission to keep the sword safe in the arsenal. If you have any doubts, feel free to ask the people involved. Since my granddaughter mentioned talking to me tomorrow, I'll be waiting for her. By the way, you watched over her for quite some time. You must be exhausted, aren't you? I'll be counting on you then.
Time to go back and find that class-skipping March 7th.
Please, take good care of Yun Li.